my husband's space. He pours a lot into my space while we're trying to balance the journey of Mrs. South Africa, being parents, and life as a whole.
Yeah. Maybe to someone who probably doesn't have the support system, which is your husband being there, being supportive in your journey. This is your first pageant, right?
This is my first pageant, and look, it's more than a pageant, really. Mrs. South Africa. It's a platform where we get empowered, uplifted. I've seen the transformation myself, even though we've just started with this journey. So it's definitely my first time. So I think it is important to have those people in your corner, which I am grateful for, to have my husband. Through the 10 years of us being married, we've built a friendship. So it helps that my dreams become his dreams to a certain level, as his dreams become my dreams. It's more like growing together. As I transform in this journey, we would blend it together. Hopefully he also gets to experience a transformation by just experiencing me transform in my own journey in Mrs. South Africa.
What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another special episode. Today we're joined by another Miss South Africa semi-finalist 2026. Ntsaky, welcome to the safe space. How are you doing?
I'm well, and thank you so much for having me. I am looking forward to how this conversation will go.
We want to dive into your journey in Miss South Africa as well, and overall you're a mother as well, and you're also married. How has the marriage part of your life treating you as well?
Look, I'm a firm believer that relationships are about serving each other. So I pour into someone's space, he pours back into my space. So I think it's very important to be intentional when it comes to relationships. Because as much as I'm journeying Mrs. South Africa, I need to also be feeding my intimate relationship. I mean, a part of why I entered Mrs. South Africa is because I'm a married woman. It's a pageant for married women. So I pour a lot into my husband's space. He pours a lot into my space while we're trying to balance the journey of Mrs. South Africa, being parents, and life as a whole.
Maybe to someone who probably doesn't have the support system, which is your husband being there, being supportive in your journey. This is your first pageant, right?
This is my first pageant, and look, it's more than a pageant, really. Mrs. South Africa. It's a platform where we get empowered, uplifted. I've seen the transformation myself, even though we've just started with this journey. So it's definitely my first time. So I think it is important to have those people in your corner, which I am grateful for, to have my husband. Through the 10 years of us being married, we've built a friendship. So it helps that my dreams become his dreams to a certain level, as his dreams become my dreams. It's more like growing together. As I transform in this journey,
you blend it all together.
We would blend it together. Hopefully he also gets to experience a transformation by just experiencing me transform in my own journey in Mrs. South Africa.
That's so profound. Just take me through, who is Ntsaky?
So I am Ntsaky Maluleke. I am from Giyani. That's where I was born. It is a small town in Limpopo. So I grew up in the dusty streets of Limpopo, if you may call it that. That's why I love that I'm able to enter spaces like this, that I know there's a girl child sitting somewhere in Giyani saying, sure, that is my sister, that is my homie, and if she can do it, so can I. So I grew up being, I'm a pastor's daughter, a PK. That word, I'm a PK. So my dad is a pastor, he's a founder of a church called Abundant Life. So I grew up in church. I grew up in church yes, of course, he wanted me to be in ministry. So I've always said to him that I found my own ways to minister to people. So I'm a psychologist by profession, meaning that my day-to-day life is about ministering. It's about impact. I work with students in one of the universities in around Gauteng, and they teach me that we can never stop learning. It doesn't matter where we come from. We can always build ourselves. We can always try to do better. As long as you are that support, that helps. So yeah, I'm very passionate about what I do. Being a psychologist. And I also am very passionate about being a mom. I'm passionate about being a mom because I've been married for 10 years, and to be honest, it's years of prayers, it's years of resilience and years of persistence. My husband and I, we experienced some losses. We had miscarriages happening. And when you are so low in life that there's just no lower that you're going to. I always say when you're going to cry about something, you better sit on the floor so that you know that life will not move you beyond where you are. So that when you're done crying, you figure out, how do I dust myself? How do I get up and go? So that makes me very passionate about mothering, because my daughter is our rainbow baby. It's that rainbow after a storm. It is my reason to do this Mrs. South Africa journey. It is my why. That's why when I started sharing my own journey of having gone through this experience and how isolating miscarriages can be, that unspoken grief where all you feel is this pain, but no one knows. It's not like someone was alive for them to see and they had a whole funeral. But you still have to show up, in ways that if people had to understand what is going on in the inside, they would understand that this person is brave. This person is courageous. So with all that, it makes me passionate about motherhood, being intentional to my daughter. I'm sharing my own journey of navigating loss, because I know if it happens to me, someone else also experiences it. Someone else has, and a lot of women, when you talk to them, they always have these journeys of fertility issues that no one really gets to sit and really unpack and really support each other through. So as much as I share that for others, I share it for myself, because I think I'm too in a process of healing and reclaiming my own power as a woman and redefining myself, my own identity.
Right. That's so amazing, for God is giving the courage, he's also strengthening you to be bold enough to stand as well. Because a lot of women that I know, they not able to come back, It's always tough. How do you deal with that process of you experiencing miscarriage?
I mean, it is tough to bounce back. You go through your own processes of grief, when you are in a denial phase, not thinking that something is happening to you. But until you get to that point of acceptance, knowing that life is happening, not only about miscarriages, really. People go through grief in their own ways, whether it's traumas of relationships, whether it's financial traumas, where you lose so much, whether it's even losing yourself. There's only one choice, really. No one is gonna live life for you. You sit down and you get to a point and say that, if I'm not going to get up, no one else will get up for me. Of course, it's also years of prayer. Lots of prayer for that spiritual healing, spiritual alignment, to make sense of the experience outside who God has always been in my life, which is faithful, right? And of course, it's years of also therapy. As much as I'm a psychologist, I advocate for therapy. I had to, at some point, sit with my husband in a room where we got therapy, so that I understood how do I support him. Because as much as I know what I'm feeling, this kind of grief doesn't only happen to one person. It happens to the both of them. So I think those are some of the ways in which I was able to say, look, let's get up, let's keep going, let's move on. The support system around me, my parents are very supportive. The friendships that I have, they're very supportive.
When you're sitting with someone who comes to you,
so it's all this. It takes community to also help child
Yeah.
bounce back.
You have to be there
That is so
as a
amazing.
psychologist.
The fact that you,
You know what I mean?
picked his
So my
daughter.
experiences, I had to sit with my experiences and be able to
You know, this just
navigate
reminds me
how
of
do I put it
Pendugami's
aside so
story,
that I'm
right?
still
She was
an
also
authentic therapist.
yeah,
You don't want to come into my
being raised
space
in a
and
in a
the space is
pastorhood
about me.
household, and how
When
did
I was
you,
going through my own
you know, having that conversation with your parents and say,
grief
you know, want to
and
take a
having
different
lost
path, you know, and
pregnancies.
how was that? How
I
did
would
they
see
feel about that?
people
You know,
that are
you did
going
highlight
through,
on
I'm pregnant.
they wanted you to get
You
in
know, that
ministry.
can
That's so surprising.
Impact
really
something.
Doing the
have an
opposite
impact.
part of
Yeah.
So when you're not
the part of
going to
things,
your
you know,
own
how did you
therapy, it's so
actually
hard to
educate
separate
your
what's yours
parents
and
on
what's
that?
not
Actually,
yours.
Yeah.
So it's
I
basically
mean, we all have a calling and a purpose that we need to align with in life.
yeah.
Your parents can want things for you, and it's a good thing. Our parents want good things for us,
Yeah.
but we also need to sit with ourselves and understand what we are personally called for.
Yeah.
I mean, I love what I do. It's a breath of fresh air. You know, seeing people that are feeling hopeless and leaving my space after work and work saying, Sean, Ntsaky, I feel like a 10 out of 10 or a 9 out of 10, not that 1 out of 10 that I was coming here with. So it's a different kind of impact. Of course, you just explain and explain. They don't always get it. But through your life becomes a testimony that they see that, maybe we may not have gotten why she decided to go this route, but we see it. We see the beam, we see the impact. So yeah, I mean, being a PK comes with its pros and cons. Oh my goodness. Society just looks at you thinking, I've always said that you can do the same thing as a child next door. But just because when you're a PK,
People look at you different. Like, they have certain like expectations of how you should live and portray yourself as
how you should live. It's and whenever we go according to people's expectations, anything you do is never enough. Whatever you do is a bit too much, it's a bit too less.
Yeah.
When I passed my matric, I remember getting, how many A's did you get? I mean, I passed. Do you know what I mean? So it's all of those things, but at the same time, pros and cons, like I said. People pray for you. I know that I have a whole community backing me up. They pray for me by my name. They say that you're gonna go into spaces, you're gonna have an impact, and I believe those prayers. So it's okay to not like something fully, but like other parts of it, I suppose.
Yeah, right. So the fact that we're having this conversation, how was your childhood when you're growing up? We did talk about the expectation of the community and also people from church as well. You passed, and with how many A's, right? Like at the end of the day, you passed. Like doesn't matter how many A's you passed.
I did.
Yeah,
and I worked so hard for that bachelor's. You know what I mean?
What was your introduction to Miss South Africa? You did highlighted a little bit of motivation, but what was the highlights? What is your intention of you want to be part of that community?
So I have a series, right, called Healing and Reclaiming. Healing and Reclaiming My Power. So this is where I started sharing my journey of loss, navigating grief, different parts, how what loss can do to a marriage. I talked about women's stuff like fibroids, how to get help, like your different things, I just journey and unpack the financial cost of even planning a child and doing all these procedures.
Oh, we need to talk about that.
Because finances, sometimes you think about it outside the fertility journey. It's one thing for me to say, look, go and do this. It's not free. And if you want to go to a government space, you barely get space anyway, or you have to be in waiting and all of those things. I mean, they do an excellent work in terms of whoever they're able to help. But what I'm trying to say is it does come with its own
Pros and cons, yeah.
Cons, and also just the financial strains of it. But I just, with my show, with my series on healing and reclaiming, I noticed that it was having quite an impact. Every time I would post about something, like there's a series where I post when I thought my body failed me, and I unpack that, because you go to school, they say get married, after you get married they say have kids, and for me school was so easy. I'm someone who's very educated, but having a child, which is seen as very simple for a lot of people was the hardest part. So just to normalize to people that you're not alone, people engaged very well with that, and they felt like I'm saying the stuff that they want to say. I'm creating that space. So I thought to myself, I want this to grow bigger. I want something that's gonna amplify this work that I already do. It doesn't only have to be with me being a psychologist, only me just being on TikTok, but it has to be bigger than that. What else is bigger than that? The Mrs. South Africa brand.
Right.
I mean, it's all about your why, what you want to do with the platform. And believe me when I say that since being part of the platform, I am reaching a bigger audience. I'm making greater impact. As much as we look at the journey and think it's about the crown, there is moments of crowning every single time. I'm in disbelief at this point of the transformation and the impact that we're already doing.
Yeah. That is so amazing, how has your experience as a psychologist shaped your approach to mental health advocate?
So that is a deep question. How has my experiences as a psychologist shaped my approach? Look, I consistently go to therapy for one reason. Well, not one, among others. Yes, it's a space for me, but it's also a space to navigate what is mine and what is not mine. When you're sitting with someone who comes to you, you have to be authentic. It doesn't matter if your life is stopping or it's not going where you want it to go. You have to be there as a psychologist. You know what I mean? So my experiences, I had to sit with my experiences and be able to navigate how do I put it aside so that I'm still an authentic therapist. You don't want to come into my space and the space is about me, you know? When I was going through my own grief and having lost pregnancies, I would see people that are going through, I'm pregnant. You know, that can really have an impact. So when you're not going to your own therapy, it's so hard to separate what's yours and what's not yours. So it's basically us practicing what we preach so that we are able to navigate being a authentic and good psychologist, therapist. At the end of the day, someone must leave your space feeling like I've gotten what I want out of coming here. So it's being aware of my own experience, one. So that I know how to navigate on my experience, not negatively affecting the space. However, when you've gone through something, you understand it from a different perspective. Even when you're reflecting on, sure, that is devastating. It's not like the same thing and say, that is hard. Because you've gone through it, you know, that was not hard. That was devastating. That's the piece. So your level of engaging and understanding someone can depend by it. So it's all of that in which I feel like it has a way of impacting me being a therapist, me being a psychologist. This experience.
Okay. Let's talk about unhealed psychologist.
Unhealed psychologist.
What do you feel about an unhealed psychologist?
Well, if I said I feel a certain way, it would mean that they are unhealed psychologists. As professionals, we are taught to be competent. That's why we continuously develop ourselves. We have what we call continuous development points that we need to get so that we understand that we are competent. I would want to believe that people that are in practice are competent people. So you know very well to not go into a space when you are not healed yourself. And healing is not a destination, it's a process. But there can be in a process where you can be there for someone, but you're able to pack your things aside. Doesn't mean that when you get back home, you're not able to face them. So I'd want to think that the professionals out there are quite competent. We are trained for years and years. You only become a psychologist after you've done your master's, then you write board exams. This is years of training to understand the profession.
Sure.
You go to your doctor, they may not be well, but who's the patient?
You are the patient.
You are the patient. So,
okay, that's I like that. What is the one message to someone who's a mother, a young mother, could be a mother in general, who's looking up to you, that has experienced the same thing that you probably went through? What message do you have for them in the journey of healing as well?
Sure. I would say that try and silence society because society can be so loud,
True.
especially when you're going through heartaches and heartbreaks and pains.
Yeah.
Society is so loud that they will ask you, when are you having kids? When are you having another one?
Yeah.
When are you getting married? When is this? When is that? When is that? And that loudness can really be poking in terms of what people are going through.
Yeah.
So I'd say silence the loudness. Silence it. Find a way to work within your timeline. It's okay to not be okay. It's okay to take some time off. I had a miscarriage somewhere in 2019.
Yeah.
Took me years. I had to navigate the people around me and told them, don't ask me when I'm having a baby. I mean, I'm trying to, I don't even know at this point if I'll ever. So I needed to take time to get that healing myself. So what I mean is silence the noise, work with your timeline.
Yeah.
You're not late when it's relative to yourself. You always feel late when it comes to other people. Other people look like they're doing more in life. But remember, this is my drawing board. If something doesn't work out right now, how do I negotiate it to find something that works for me? And look, motherhood is not defined by having biological kids. You are mothers to the nation. You are mothers to your own dreams. You are mothers to a lot of different things. So I don't want people thinking that if maybe things are not happening the way they want it to happen, it's your body not showing up.
Yeah.
It's just saying, be kinder to yourself. Give yourself grace to say, look, this is where I'm at.
Yeah.
And that's how things are for now.
Okay. Yeah, that is so amazing. How did you deal with your losing your brother and someone that was close to you? How did you deal with it?
Losing my brother was very hard. This was in 2014. So I think it would be one of the most significant losses, rather the first of someone who I loved dearly. My brother loved me so much and I love him. I love him so much. So he had a tumor and then he passed on. And that was difficult. I cried. I cried until I couldn't cry. I remember my parents sitting me down saying, we don't see you crying. Yes, I would cry when I could in my own safe space. But there's a part of me that understood that they also lost a son. You know, it's so hard to navigate grief when it's having this impact on different people. So despite the downfalls of it or the negative side of it, losing my brother dared me in ways that I can never get to explain properly. I think, not that I wasn't leaving, but that's when I started leaving. I felt I can do anything. I put my mind to it. And right now I know I can do anything I put my mind to. Like after I had a baby, I grew very big. When I tell you that through exercise, I lost a lot of weight. Let me tell you, it's things that in my head, it sounds like, how do you do that? But because I document these things and people see me, they can actually see when I transition. So yes, I lost my brother, but there was a different Ntsaky that was born.
Okay.
Born for these different seasons. I get into spaces. I don't apologize for taking space. I'm deserving. I'm worthy, you know? So it birthed this amazing woman. Yes, it's unfortunate that it's through loss and I miss him. But I think it was quite a significant part because that also ties into how the journey unfolds to where I'm at.
Yeah.
And what I'm doing in these different spaces, especially with the work around grief and all of that.
Yeah. That's so amazing. What drives your passion for creating a safe space for women to heal and grow as well?
Well, the passion is impacting people, really. It's a different kind of impacting people impacts the self.
Okay.
You know, when you do good for other people,
Yeah.
and it just translates into goodness towards you. It looks like a pouring,
Yeah.
but it's a part of pouring into myself.
Right.
I value impact in that way, so it makes me passionate about doing that. And also, creating a safe space is also creating a safe space for me.
Yeah.
Like I said, I am in my own process of healing. And as you navigate, there are days that you think of other things that have happened, that you've experienced in life.
Right.
Whether it is the loss of my brother, just as now we reflected, it made me think about him. I mean, times are moving and I miss him, and solidifying that acceptance to say you'll never see someone again.
Yeah.
But creating that safe space for others to talk, and when I share, it also helps me deepen my healing journey. So it's freeing. It's freeing in itself.
Yeah.
It's impactful to someone, it's impactful for me. There's no proper words to really say exactly how it happens, but you feel that move. You just feel internally, you just feel good.
Yeah.
When you're able to do good to others. It's internally healing your inner child in a way. It's like advocating for what you needed then
Yeah.
for you to be advocated for. So there were times when my brother was in hospital. I remember wanting someone to ask you, how are you? Are you okay? Creating that safe space. So being able to do that for someone heals that child in 2014 where I didn't know who to talk to.
Yeah.
It's like I'm saying I see you to myself while I'm seeing someone else. I hear you to myself while I'm hearing someone else. It's a hug to someone, but it translates as an internal hug to myself. So that in itself drives this passion. It's like fire, and you just want to be there, and it's a part of living. It's what we do. It's what I do.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
That's so nice, you know. What are you mostly looking forward to in the journey of you being part of such an amazing brand, which is Miss South Africa?
Look, I'm looking forward to transformation, and already I can say that there's been a lot that has changed.
Yeah.
How I show up in spaces, and not that I would show up weakly. So I've always been a bold person, but there's just a bit more courage in spaces. You know, like I said, it's an uplifting space that helps you transform internally. It then translates in what I do as well. I'm looking forward to that growth that I say, oh, Ntsaky, that was Ntsaky when she started. Whether it's my fitness goals, it's very aligned with Mrs. South Africa. So when I entered Mrs. South Africa, I did say that after having a baby, your body changes. It's just that when you're a woman, it's so hard to navigate this when society is telling you you're fat when you just had a baby yesterday. So it's things you have to kind of sit with and say, my timing is my timing, and I will work on my own fitness. So I started walking, right? When I started walking, it was mainly to lose weight. But that's not why I walk anymore. I walk for change, I walk for mental health. Because every time I walk, I feel good. 4:30 this morning I was up. I did my morning exercise. If I show you now, I had already done 5 kilometers walk. That was before 6:30.
Wow.
Touch that. You know, it feels good. You're more energized to really get into the day. You think more clearly. You just being your best version of yourself. So I'm also looking forward to focusing on me and empowering me and living my life. A lot of times it's being a psychologist, being a mother, being a wife. I mean, amazing. I love those roles too. But there's also being in me, being in Ntsaky. And I remember sharing this in Mrs. South Africa platform the other day when we had a webinar. I said, what has this journey done for me? This journey has done for me so far is that it's unleashed Ntsaky 2.0. And I'm like, I don't know what Ntsaky in July, when we actually go to the semis, casting will look like. Because already there's so much difference between the Ntsaky in January and the Ntsaky now.
How do you think a woman can prioritize holistically while being amongst life challenges?
holistic well-being is something that excites me.
Yeah.
Because as people, we are holistic individuals.
Right.
What I mean by that, you have your mental part of life, which is like your cognitive, your brain. You have the emotional, I'm talking about feelings and all of that. Spiritual, which is whether it's praying, if you're a believer, meditation, even whatever spirituality means to you. We have the physical, how you look, how you feel, how, you know. So when we look at holistic health, it's thinking about how am I adding value to these different parts of myself.
Right.
So mentally, you want to allow yourself to grow as a woman.
Right.
You read things that help you grow or help you reflect on being a better version of yourself. We are all in a process of becoming. I can only hope that you want to become better than yesterday. You want to be Ntsaky that is wiser, smarter, and just more embracing life than yesterday.
Right.
So mentally, it's to think about what am I doing to help myself in a cognitive way.
Right.
Emotionally, what am I adding to myself? If you can't afford a therapist, you have journaling. You can start writing about how you are feeling, but I'm big on stuff like gratitude journaling. Gratitude journaling is where you sit every other day and say, what are the 3 things that I'm grateful for? Because a lot of times we take for granted and we think you just wake up every day. But it's not like that. If someone is depressed, to get out of bed, to open the windows, it is a whole mission. So if you wake up and say, sure, today I showed up, even though I didn't feel like it. Today I was able to do this. I'm grateful for people around me. It just makes you appreciate life a bit more.
Yeah.
Our brain is wired in a way that we're always so focused on the negativities of life.
True.
You could be having a day right now and I ask you, how was your day? Then you're like, oh, it was so bad. I'm like, what do you mean? Tell me about it.
Yeah.
You're like, no, Ntsaky, this and this happened, and it's nice things. Until that guy did this. Then I'm like, but how is it so bad? Because there's all these nice things that also happen.
And then one person.
That one thing will mess up your day.
Right.
So somehow it's rechanneling our brains to also think about the things that we're grateful for, so that we are not so centered around the things that are wrong in our life. Like spirituality, I did say that we need to find ways to add into that. Like whether it's you praying, whether it's you meditating on the word. Also meditation, just taking time to pause, grounding yourself. I always do this exercise with people, say just stand on the ground. It will remind you that the ground is holding you, so you're not falling. As much as you're feeling like you're falling apart, literally the ground is holding you. So sometimes to have that spiritual awakening and reminder can also be helpful. Physically, I said I take walks. Other people go to the gym. I paid the gym, but to be honest, I'd be lying if I said I am consistent with the gym. But since joining Mrs. South Africa, I have a personal trainer. 5 o'clock, we're on that video call. Because of my time, I can't go to the gym, but doesn't mean there are no people that she's my fitness trainer and you gotta do those. Oh, she will make you do stuff. Like you can't even stop because you have someone looking at you. So it's also a group of women. I think it's about 5 of us that do the 5 a.m. It helps you do before work. After 30 minutes, not a lot of time. You've already feeling energized. You've already done the work. You're there.
Right.
So it's thinking of things on the different levels or the different parts of the cell that just adds to you as a person.
Yeah, that is so amazing. Where can people book you for sessions?
For sessions, as in psychology sessions, so I have a 9 to 5. I always say to people, because I'm quite consistent with my posting, so people think I'm a full-time content creator.
I thought as much as well.
I'm not a full-time content creator. I did say I work at one of the universities, so it means that I'm seeing the students that are coming in for therapy in that specific setting. I've not been in private practice for a while, but I may have to revisit it because there's been a lot of demand. You know, when you talk about certain issues, people just feel safer. They want to come for your individual therapy sessions. As much as I'm not doing one-on-one sessions, there are a couple of things that we've been working on, like I will post it soon. Mother's Day Healing and Reclaiming. So it is a space where women come and nourish their minds, their bodies, and it's a healing and reclaiming experience. I also am part of the panel that takes you through an experience of being able to let go of things that we carry pains. Sometimes the pains have reached their full stay, but we carry them because we're so scared that when I let go of this, am I the same person? Does it mean I'm forgetting these people that left me? Does it mean I'm forgetting a parent who passed on if I'm saying I'm letting go of the pain? So we will have that experience where people go through an experience of healing and reclaiming themselves, and we'll have different speakers. So I think that speaks to it from a psychological perspective. You must be on the lookout. I'll be putting posters around it. It's going to be the 10th of May, which is Mother's Day, but it's for women that are becoming better versions of themselves. So that's how you reach me, but not for private practice at the moment. And I will say when I'm back in private practice, but with the Mrs. South Africa journey, it's good to be able to not take the whole cake and try to eat it. If you do that, it falls all over the place. Right. But if I gave you a knife and say cut the cake, you'll notice that you'll finish that cake, and I'm like, oh, how did you do that? So it's good to really find a sense of balance in terms of what's priority right now, what are we doing right now. But those group spaces, I'm definitely excited about, given that it's women coming together and there's gonna be lunch, all of those things, and different other experiences that we'll be posting about.
Okay. Yeah, so maybe to people that want to vote for you, they also want you to be part of the finalist stage, because I mean, it's slowly coming together. Yeah, where can people vote for you?
Look, you can vote for me by SMSing Ntsaky Maluleke, Ntsaky with a Y, Ntsaky Maluleke to 47587. The SMS costs you 3 Rand, and you can vote as many times as you can, as you want. And I appreciate everyone who's been supporting me, who's been voting for me, because the statistics do not lie. The other day, the stats were brought out for the last for April, going backwards. Guess who was top? Ntsaky. I mean, it's people voting for me, believing in the vision, resonating with what I stand for. I do not take that for granted. So that's how you. Oh, thank you so much. Oh yes, I know I must stay humble, but but yeah, I'm so grateful. Honestly, I'm so grateful. When those stats came out, I didn't even know it was a thing, and I noticed people have been voting. So I just wanted to appreciate that. But keep voting. Let's not be disheartened. So whoever gets the highest votes, good social media presence, among other things, get to be the one person who makes it to the top 30.
Okay.
The other 20 automatically, they will just call your name and like,
this is you.
This is you, you know. Right. So that's why that voting counts, and that backing. It means that you are also getting you impacting people. People vote for what they believe in. So it means that you are out there, you are spreading the word. Also, please follow me on Instagram. So Ntsaky Maluleke, Ntsaky Maluleke Mwana Tate. You will find me. Also, just follow Mrs. South Africa as well. You go and like my pin photo. If you do that, that's also a vote. So sometimes if you don't have that run to SMS, once you follow me and like that, it's a vote. Okay. Facebook as well. You can go to the Mrs. South Africa page, you follow them, and then you scroll down and you find my face and you like it. If you like other people there as well, I mean, we're all queens. I feel like your blessings are your blessings. Right. Just because I'm pushing someone doesn't mean that someone is taking from my cup. My cup is feeling very full right now that it's pouring over. Right. So, but thank you so much. That's how you vote. That's how you vote.
Oh, okay, that's so amazing. You know, we're wishing you all the best in your journey, and also being a mother, being a wife, and everything, growing your family as well. Wishing you all the best.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, and thank you for having me here. And make sure you subscribe and please follow. So that you keep up with the journeys of whether Mrs. South Africa, other pageantries that are going on.
Yeah.
And it's a nice space. In itself, it's uplifting. Somehow, I feel like I just went for free therapy. So that's a good thing.
Right. No, thank you so much for opening up and also creating a safe space, and that we really we are actually 100% big on creating a safe space for such conversation like this. Shout out to you.